Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. My name is Brianna Wilson. I'm a certified dementia practitioner and the founder of Bambu Care, where you can find us at letsbamboo.com. So for today's video, we are going to cover a topic that was brought up by one of our Treehouse members. Now, if you aren't familiar with what the Treehouse is, it is the ultimate dementia resource library for dementia caregivers. It has everything from videos, podcasts, blogs, activities, handouts, printables, even webinars. So we have two tiers available. If you think this is something that you would be interested in and find benefit in, then I welcome you to join us at letsbamboo.com/treehouse, okay? So let's talk about verbal aggression as it relates to behavioral variant frontotemporal dementia. That is a mouthful, and you will often see it abbreviated as lowercase bv, capital FTD. And there are actually three primary types of frontotemporal dementia. We did a whole podcast episode on it, so if you're interested, I'll link it in the eye in the sky as well as in the description box. Okay, but for this video, we are just going to focus on bvFTD, okay? So one thing that we have to understand about this type of dementia is that it commonly affects brain regions that are responsible for emotional processing and impulse control. So what can this look like? It can look like emotional blunting, where the person becomes numb to both positive and negative feelings, loss of empathy, social disinhibition, and impulsiveness. People with frontotemporal dementia are often seen as rude and insensitive and like they don't care about your feelings. And it's not necessarily that they don't care about your feelings, but because they often lack insight and self-awareness, it's hard for them to see themselves as the problem or the cause of your hurt. And then because they also have that lack of empathy, it's hard for them to understand and to resonate with the feelings of others. Perspective taking is impaired, and so that's very challenging for them. And understandably, it can cause a lot of issues. It can lead to arguments and feelings getting hurt, especially on the side of the caregiver. Now, the caregiver that submitted their request mentioned that their partner would become verbally aggressive over simple things. And I have no context as to what these simple things were, but what I will say and what you may find interesting is that people with bvFTD often struggle to distinguish between accidental and intentional situations, inferring the intentions of others, and processing contextual social cues. And so, what can end up happening is that they overattribute bad intentions to a person, even if what the person did was accidental or if even what the person did wasn't necessarily bad. And what's even more interesting is that because self oriented feelings of discomfort are often preserved in people with this type of dementia, they may take action to reduce their own discomfort. And much of the time, this can look like impulsive actions. A lot of the time, verbal aggression comes from a very impulsive place. It comes from not being able to filter yourself, not being able to think before you act. And so, whatever that impulse response is, that is what you give out. But because rapid mood shifts is often characteristic of this type of dementia, you may see your person get really worked up and angry, but then as soon as they get distracted by something else, like maybe they start eating something, or maybe they start fooling with something else, or maybe the topic of conversation changes, they act as if nothing happened. And that can be really frustrating, right? Because now you're left feeling all the feels of what just happened. Meanwhile, they're just going about their day as if nothing happened. So, I say all of this to say that if your partner is behaving differently from how you once knew them to be, or maybe they always kind of had this side to them, but they used to be a lot more tame back in the day, damage to the brain that controls emotional processing and impulse control is to blame. Now, that doesn't make it okay. That doesn't mean you can't feel how you feel, okay? But there's a part of you that will have to understand that a lot of it is not within their control, okay? Also, it's important to realize that regardless of how much damage is being done to the brain, behavior is still a form of communication. When most people become verbally aggressive, it's because they are trying to express something that they perceive as important. They're trying to get you to understand something, okay? So what that means on your part is that you're going to have to ask yourself, am I listening to what they are trying to tell me? Am I validating their feelings? Am I trying to understand their perspective and why they may be getting so worked up? Or am I arguing? Am I trying to get them to see my perspective? Because remember, perspective taking is impaired, so it is a hard ask. And that's why oftentimes you trying to explain something to them or correct them on something they've said or go back and forth only escalates the issue. It just gets worse, okay? But I do hope that you found this video helpful. I'm also going to link a blog post that we did on our top 6 de-escalation tips because you may find it helpful for a situation that you're dealing with. If you have dealt with verbal aggression and you are open to sharing your experience in the comment section, please do. And also share how you handled it so that other caregivers can learn from your experience. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to reach out in the comment section, or you can join us inside of the treehouse at letsbamboo.com/treehouse. We also have a free support community. I'll leave all that information in the description box. If you did find this video helpful, please be sure to like and subscribe and even share it with someone else that you think could benefit from this type of information. And until next time, bye guys.